Hi, I'm Yuval from AI21, and what we're going to do in this video is to build a financial analyst assistant using our new conversational RAG endpoint. So what is conversational RAG in a nutshell? Just like the name suggests, conversation plus RAG, meaning a chat API that can not only converse with you in a high level, but also access your organizational data. Let's get started. Okay, let's do some imports, get the API key to AI21. Okay, if you're not sure what it is, you can just go to your account and over here, you can get the API key. Okay, now let's define a client so we can upload the data. And in order to create, to mimic, in this toy example, an organizational data, we're going to download 5 years worth of 10K reports by Amazon. Okay, publicly available data, just a simple download, no games here or anything like that. Now we're going to use the AI21 SDK to upload, all those 5 files to our system. And you can see here, it might take a few seconds, and also you can check in the UI the progress as well. So you can see this is the RAG engine for AI21 Studio, and you can see this is my account, that now all these 5 files are in processing, meaning very, very soon they will be ready to process. Okay, you can see this is sometimes take a few seconds, but I think we can also continue. So let's see what we have here. Okay, this is like the main function that we will use. And there are, again, many ways how to handle chat models, chat APIs. I chose to do it with a global variable. So we have the conversation history that we have to save somewhere. Okay, and this conversation history will be a global variable. Now let's look at the function. I will soon talk about the default response. So we have the get a message and some labels. Okay, the labels is something that you can put for your files in storage, where if you have a lot of files in your data set, but you know that only some of them are actually relevant for this application, you can use it to focus the search. Okay, and you can see here, we did put a label, right, that's called the 10K example. So again, we have here the message. So first of all, we want to append the message to the conversation history because all of this should go into the model. Then the URL, the payload is the conversation history and the labels. Of course, we're getting the API key. And just like, a request, simple HTTP request, and we're getting the response. Here we have some handling, just like to make sure everything is okay. But again, now we have the, sorry, and now when we get in a response, we're just appending the message to the conversation history and return the message. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, this is the case where if the model decided to do some sort of retrieval and then found that the answer is not in any of the documents, then it will simply indicate answer not in context. So context retrieved and answer not in context. Okay, it will just say the default response. And in this case, I said the default response is, I'm sorry, I cannot answer your question based on the documents I have access to. This is something that you can use in order to control the output, right? If this is something that, if the answer is not in your documents, you probably want to put some sort of predefined response, something that you already agreed upon in your application. And this is just a function that we're using to print it. So let's get started. Okay, let's say to a message, and let's say that, hello, how are you? Now I want to call that conversational RAG. So I'm saying that the response will be call conv RAG, where message is message, and labels. Again, this is the 10K example. It doesn't really matter in this case, but I think it's just like in order to show you how to use it. And let's just print the response. And let's see what we have here. Okay, so call conversational RAG is not defined. Clearly, I forgot to run the cell. Let's do it again. Hello, I'm here and ready to assist. How can I help you? Okay, and we can also look at the conversation history just to make sure that we understand what happened here. Okay, so user, hello, how are you? Assistant, I'm ready to assist. How can I help you today? Great, let's try to really get the model to say something. Okay, so how can I help you today? I want to do some research about Amazon in the last couple of years. Let's start with an easy one. Why not? How many employees did Amazon have by the end of 2023? And let's see what the model will say. Okay, so this is a fairly easy question, right? So by the end of 2023, Amazon employed approximately 1 million and so on. You can actually look at the full response if you want. Okay, and here you can see that this is what the assistant said, but also you have search queries. Okay, this is what happened based on the entire message history. This is what the model used to actually query the retrieval engine. So context retrieved true, meaning that the model did retrieval. Answer in context true, meaning that the model indeed found an answer. And you can see here sources, okay, citations, which is something which is really, really nice. And also let's look at the conversation history just to make sure that we're okay. Okay, but this was an easy question. Now let's think of something a bit more challenging. Okay, so thanks. Any major events, stock events. Okay, this is something which is very interesting for financial analysts. I should know about, including values and splits. Okay, and for those of you who don't know, okay, the stock split is something which is a very major event. Okay, this is something which is essentially we're taking a stock which has a lot of worth and splitting it to some stocks that are like in less worth. Okay, so if we had 100 stocks and each of them worth $10, and we're splitting it into 1 to 10. Okay, so what happens is now we have 1,000 stocks, each of them now worth $1. Okay, so the total value is the same, just the amount is different. It's like a fiscal event. And here you can see on May 27, 2022, Amazon effected a 20 for 1 stock split. Again, this is something which is very, very important, and it's not an easy task at all to find it out from all the documents that it have. And you can see here again, context retrieved, answer in context, and the sources. But what about things that we are not expecting the model to do? Okay, so let's just ask it, how does it compare, let's say, to Google? And in this case, this is something we're not expecting the model to actually know, right? Because the model doesn't have access. Okay, we only put the RAG, the Amazon 10Ks. So here you can see, I'm sorry, I cannot answer your question based on the documents I have access to. This is the default response that I got. Okay, this is the default response that I defined all the way up here. And also let's take a look at the response and see what happened here. So there is a query here, so context retrieved, but the answer in context is false. Okay, so again, in this case, the model really provides a clear indication of where the answer is not in the context in order for you as a user to be able to provide whatever answer you want to your users, okay, as a builder. Okay, this is something which is very, very easy to maintain and very, very easy to parse. So just to sum it up, okay, we used our conversational RAG endpoint to really build this financial analyst assistant. And again, we built this notebook kind of together. You can see the full version with more explanations and a bit more examples published in our documents. And of course, you can just go and start build it through our website.